Violence against women and girls has reached epidemic levels, according to police, amid growing concerns that misogynistic influencers like Andrew Tate are fueling sex offences committed by teenage boys. Now, police chiefs have branded the crisis a national emergency after an official report found that more than 1 million violent crimes against women and children were recorded in the 12 months to March 2023. That's equivalent to almost 3,000 crimes every single day in England and Wales. Stunningly, the average age of suspects accused of sexual abuse of girls is 15. The average age of their victims is just 13. Then when you look at all the numbers, child sexual abuse and exploitation offences increased more than fivefold between 2013 and 2022, from just over 20,000 to nearly 107,000, according to police analysis. So just when you look at these numbers, they are really staggering, because violent crimes against women and children have gone up by 37% in 4 years. 2 million women every single year will be victims of violent crime, equivalent to 1 in 12 women. What's even worse about this is they say these estimates are cautious. Joining me now is Emily Konstantas, who is Global CEO of the Safeguarding Alliance. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks ever so much for coming on. I'm really staggered reading this. Epidemic levels, this violence against women and girls. What's going on here? Because you have got these influencers like Andrew Tate, and I know, talking to young people, and particularly young teenage boys, like, for example, friends of my nephews, that actually they do pay attention to what he's saying. They are captivated by the stuff that's online, and clearly it's having an effect on their behaviour.
Absolutely. I think really we need to have greater education. It's not just around the education, though. We have to have stronger legislation. We don't have enough deterrent to stop people doing such things. We need to have safer sentencing. Obviously, we read earlier that we're looking at potentially early release from prison, but actually, why are we not building more prisons? The sentencing isn't high enough to actually deter such crimes. Absolutely, you are correct. What's happening online is effectively young boys are being groomed to undertake such behaviour, and we need to look at what we're doing to better educate them and actually provide support services. But I think this really goes back to, actually, we need to deter through stronger sentencing. Really pushing what we're calling for safer sentencing. Why should criminals be allowed to get out early and actually continue to put young people at risk for such things? So we really do need to look at actually how we can deter young people from such crimes.
Well, you're right. Shabana Mahmood, the Justice Secretary, said that people will be released after they serve 40% of the sentence, not 50%. They say this will reduce the number by 5,000. I think you're right, though. We need to build more prisons and to make sure that there is a deterrent in place. Can I just go back to what on earth is going wrong in the minds of teenage boys? You said they're being groomed. Can you explain, if there are parents listening or watching to this, parents of teenage boys who have no idea what we're talking about, how are they being groomed?
Absolutely. It's what's happening online. If we look through social media platforms, they're being drawn in. It's no different to any other type of radicalisation, but it's not taken as seriously as other forms of radicalisation. It's taking place through social media, through gaming, through online gaming, through Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. What are the big social media platform providers doing to actually take some responsibility? I know we're awaiting the online safety bill, but that cannot come quick enough. But you're right, parents need to take responsibility. Sit down, speak to your children. Actually, do you know what they're doing online, who they're speaking to, what's trending? Have you ever taken the time to actually look yourself online? And then that's really important as well. It cannot just be always down to the school to educate. We have to take responsibility in the home as well.
Yeah. Now, of course, the very nature of some of those platforms you talk about, like Snapchat, for example, is the image appears and disappears immediately.
Absolutely, and there's obviously that issue that goes with it, but that doesn't mean that we just sit back and actually say, well, there's nothing that we can do about it because we can't see what's being shared. You can always find there's always a digital footprint with what anybody's ever doing, and it's not just that Snapchat, it's what's trending on TikTok as well, and people are being drawn in. I know myself, actually, if you go onto social media, even if you talk about something, it'll pop up on your feed. It's really ensuring that we have an awareness of actually what our young people are looking at today, and actually ensuring they know who to contact should they be worried. But I think the biggest issue here is actually because they're being radicalised and groomed, so many of the young boys don't actually know that they are at risk themselves. And that really does come back to how we can educate them to stay safe.
What is it about Andrew Tate that teenage boys like, do you think?
I have absolutely no idea at all. I think, I mean, I don't really even know how to answer that. I don't know what anybody could like what he's saying, but it is concerning, actually, such a following that he does have.
Well, that's right. Deputy Chief Constable Maggie Blythe says he's a toxic misogynist with millions of followers online. It's absolutely terrifying. As we know, Tate is facing criminal charges in Romania for rape, human trafficking and sexual exploitation, which he denies. He's also being sued in civil courts in the UK. Now, she also says there's going to be a creation of a National Centre for Public Protection to support police forces. I think one of the other problems here is the police don't really have specialist knowledge of this. And of course, if you've got a crime like this, which is exponential, then they are ill-equipped to deal with it. And when you look at the numbers, 1 in 20 adults, or 2.3 million people in England and Wales, are perpetrators of such violence every year. And as we keep saying, the age of these offenders is going down. They are recruiting new officers, though, 4,500, to investigate rape and serious sexual offences over the last year. I assume you welcome that.
Absolutely. I think one of the other things that we need to consider is actually who's informing policy. We need young people to inform actually how to keep young people safe. I remember a time there wasn't internet and I didn't have a smartphone. Young people today, we are almost of a different race, actually, a different nation, from a different planet when it comes to the online world. We need to have young people, digital ambassadors, supporting the police to actually identify what's trending. They are the best people to be informing how to keep young people safe because they themselves are at risk. And what we need to be doing is engaging younger people to really be supporting how to identify those that are going to be at risk. And I think that's sometimes where we go wrong. We don't have the right people informing on policy. And in this it is young people.
So I totally concur with you. I think that is absolutely the right thing, which is we need young people. I certainly can't say that I understand exactly what's going on in the same way that you can't. And I think it's a brilliant point, Emily. Thank you so much for your time this morning. That's Emily Konstantas, who's Global CEO of the Safeguarding Alliance. Not